Hello guys, welcome to my world of programming. My name is Tumitadi and today we're going to be looking at the mobile application .Net Maui. I have an agenda today. I did something for ASP.NET Core MVC web app earlier on where we looked at the busy indicator and notification system that side. And then there was a reason why I decide to take this direction, that whatever you do in order to help the user to interact with the application on the user interface, it's something that you need to be considerate of when it comes to mobile applications. So we're going to be looking at the busy indicator, right? So this is what we're going to be doing. So before we continue, I would like to point you to this YouTube channel. Please do check it out. You will find it very helpful. All the content I'm making right now, the videos, they are uploaded to YouTube channel. There I'm asking you to watch them uninterrupted, right? So let's go back. I have the app running. Well, I will launch it just now. Let me just get rid of that one. All right, so what is it that we're going to be looking at? Let me launch the app in the meantime, and then let me go to a page called setup. That's the first page, right? So this page, this is the XAML. I'm still gonna make a video on this because .NET MAUI is a fantastic framework for mobile applications, both Android and iOS. You can add Mac Catalyst, you can add Windows, Tizen. It's just fantastic. So, but I want to focus on the code behind, because as soon as we click this button, something is going to show here. That's what I want us to talk about. As soon as I click continue, this is a busy indicator. So there are three things. There's a spinner, there is a message, there is a background, there's a position, right? Everywhere throughout this application, you're going to see the busy indicator. The purpose of the busy indicator, it notifies the end user that, hey, listen, there's an activity going on right now. So I'm gonna tell you the best practices also. Looking at it, there's a system of mind. Remember, this app, it's currently in production on both the Google Play Store for Android and Apple Store for iOS, right? Even if I click, let's just say this button here, right? We give it a second. As soon as I click this one, well, it's not gonna work because it needs me to fill in some things. Okay, and then as soon as I click that button, you see it changes the message. There we go. So that's what we're gonna be talking about. So how does that work? On the setup page, the page that started, what we do is that when we call this method, right, to check version updates, I've done 4-part videos talking about this feature. So what happens when you click it, right? It's gonna send a request to the service. Give me a second. Okay, before there, this is where it starts. Let me close this quickly. Okay, so this guy, okay, there we go. So set up, so I'm using the view model. The view model has access to these properties, and that's what I want to show you in a second. So let me quickly go to the view model of this guy. So view models, setup view model, right? So this is the guy that helps out the actual page, right? So the only thing I'm doing here is just a command. But if you take a close look at it, it's gonna inherit it from the base view model. So meaning that if I access this guy will have access to the base view model. Are you still following along? Right. I might do part 2. Okay, so there I'm saying, now with this guy, how do we get access to it? We just say private static set up a view model, and we use dependency injection, to inject it. Here it is, right? Good, in the constructor. So there I'm saying, when you click this button continue, click event handler, you're gonna dismiss, you're gonna hide this button. That's the first thing that we want. Secondly, I want to access a property called the busy indicator underscore is visible. Then I'm making it true. Good. So let's go and take a look at the base view model. So the base view model has that property called the base indicator. Where is it? There we go. This guy, right? It's a Boolean type of property. By default, it's false. So that's the first I'm saying, listen, I need this guy. Where is it? I need this guy to be true. That's the first thing. That means I'm activating the base indicator. So I'm just toggling the flag. That's the only thing I'm doing, right? So at the same time, I'm saying there's going to be a message passed to that base indicator. So this one is a message underscore base indicator, right? Let's check that quickly on the base view model. The head is. So this one is a string. That means it's a reusable throughout the entire application. Firstly, do you want to show yes or no? Yes. And then if you want to show what is the message we're gonna assign it just now, right? So let's go back. Then the message, this is confusing. Let me close that. Close this. Then the message is coming from a helper class called the global variables. That's where I dump everything for the entire application. So I have this specific field called the loading message. It's a part of the startup for version updates. So let me quickly go to it. Here it is. So what this guy says, it says loading, and then I'm just making an empty space. It says please wait while we check for new updates. That's what you saw, right? So let me quickly close it and relaunch it again. Good. So that's a message, right? And then what else do I do? So I'm triggering this guy to show, then I'm continuing to check for connectivity all the way to checking for version updates. Now this guy is a very critical one. When I send a request to the service will further send a request to the web API. The web API will ask the database, hey, listen, is there a new version of this platform, of this app on this platform? Then database will give the results to web API. Web API will give the results to service, and the service will tell me what was the results. Whatever that I got, whatever information that I got, check this. Before I navigate to a startup page or before I navigate to any other page, you need to disable the base indicator. This is very important. Before you navigate, you are dismissing the base indicator, right? So as you can see, but if there's a new version, also I'm dismissing the base indicator. Do you understand? Even if there's an exception, before I tell the user that, listen, we could not check for new updates, please try again later. Even before, I show the user that error message, I am disabling the base indicator and I continue with whatever I do. So remember, you have to do this. Well, I had to do this throughout. So that's what happens when you click here. It's going to check, right? And then in part 2, I'm going to show you this, a view. Where is the view that makes all this possible, right? That's going to be part 2. Listen, this is one of the critical things. You are letting the user know. Now that you did something, now that you requested something, you need to wait because the actions that the app is executing are happening asynchronously, meaning that it might happen on the network. It might happen, needing some sort of resources on the device. So it says, please wait while we process that. And it will tell you when we are finished and it will tell you what were the results. So that's the purpose of base indicator, right? It's a very, very powerful thing. So I chose the design that I have. Like I said, on part 2, I will show you specifically where the view is. The view is going to be, these are the content pages and we have content views. So here it is. I'll show this in part 2. All right, sounds good? Listen, I'm all about tutoring. I'm all about mentoring. Whether you're a student or whether you are curious about how I built my system, remember my system is currently in production, then I can walk you through this for a full hour session, only 25 Rand. Any day from Monday to Friday from 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. If you're available during the day, you can holler at me and then I'll move things around. That's what I do. I talk about database, I talk about web API, I talk about MVC, I talk about the mobile application. I'll leave my numbers below.